You're watching EVH and Gear TV, brought to you by Design39 Media. Visit design39media.com for all your website, photography, and video production needs. Microphones for EVH and Gear TV are provided by Rhoads Microphones, and official Van Halen merchandise is provided by VanHalenStore.com. And now, here's your host from Ontario, Canada, EVH artist Eric Broadbent.
Hey everyone, it is the weekend. Happy Friday to you all. It's been a disastrous week here and for more reasons than one. We've had some technical problems here as well.
You wouldn't believe it.
We'll get to that shortly. It's been a disaster, hasn't it? But you know what? We can put that all behind us now. Put the whole work week behind us. It's Friday. We're live. Welcome to EVH and Gear TV. And tonight I'm joined by a couple great people. I've got brothers Cameron, Cooper, and Angus. How you doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, and we're doing very well. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Absolutely tremendous. We're doing very well. Apart from being slightly frazzled by the technical errors before, just to give you a brief rundown, we have two different webcams. I'm currently using my laptop webcam, but we did buy a really expensive one that we were going to use for the stream, and it didn't want to play ball, and we were messing around with it for a little while, and Eric's got supremely high tolerance levels, and he has been very forgivable and let us come on with the HP, but we're just doing the best we could now. We were this close to cancelling, but we're okay now, and I hope everything's all right.
It's good.
Good evening, Eric. I hope you're well, sir. Good evening, everybody else.
Doing very well, and thank you. And you know what? The show goes on. It's never perfect. I've had things where I don't change things on a daily basis, and all of a sudden audio drivers don't work. And on a Mac, which I use, that's very rare that they ever mess up. But there's been times where nothing has changed. Obviously something changed, maybe you don't recall what we've done, something messes up, but you just can't control it. But the thing is, it's here, we're working, it's good. I'm more than happy. So yeah, got a bunch of people jumping in the live chat already, and we're gonna have lots of great questions tonight. I kind of put a bit of a teaser describing this video out there. I said we'll get a little bit of a demo of an amplifier that can produce the Brown sound, and a lot of people might not expect to look at this particular amplifier. We'll talk about that one later. But it's going to be pretty cool.
It's something I'm known for using, for without a doubt. Some of my closest friends will know about it, but maybe some of you guys might not know about it. It's
right.
Good for the Van Hagar stuff.
Yeah, some of the new people here to the channel, and even some of the regulars may have not seen some of those videos. So we'll get to that for sure. But I'd like to just jump right into it, and we're going to get some history on it from both of you guys. But I'd like to start off the evening by asking you when you got into YouTube and how you've enjoyed it from start till today.
I created my account in 2011, but I didn't upload a single video until probably summer of 2014. And what I wanted to try and do was, it all started with I was learning some Steel Panther solos, as I say. I learned, I think it was If You Really, Really Love Me and The Burden of Being Wonderful. I recorded them on a really old Sony phone and uploaded them there. And they're still on there now. Don't watch them. And then I got I think it was the super stock Sandemus, the Sunset Orange Flake, and I thought I'm going to be the first to the mark on this. Record a quick demo with an old Panasonic camera. We got it up there and got it started.
We got quite a lot of positive. We got a lot of positive feedback from the video.
Yeah, it went really well.
And it just progressed on from there.
Just to fill some of you guys in, a lot of you guys don't see my bro. He's like the Steven Spielberg of the YouTube channel. He directs everything. He does all of the camera and all of the editing and everything else. Nice. Whereas I'm just the guy in front and does all the playing. And essentially, that's how it all began. We're a little mini partnership, and we work everything out that way. Basically, what I wanted to do, the reason why I started the channel was I wanted to make the YouTube channel I wanted to watch when I was even younger, and essentially learn all of the licks that was baffling loads of people and baffling myself. And because I was going through an acceleration in my guitar playing, I thought, let's document all of this so other people can see it. If you watched a video of me 3 years ago, there's a huge difference in how I've taken off and everything else, and how my ears have developed, how everything has completely and utterly changed in my playing. And that's why I got into YouTube and how everything has developed since. It's just been a gradual progression. It's been fantastic.
I like
It's
that, and the
absolutely
fact that you say the way you said that it was a to document your progress. Because a lot of times, as musicians, no matter what instrument we're on, if we're not really keeping track, you don't really like. You might know you're getting a little bit better, but you don't know how much better. And that's a real physical representation to watch that back, and might go like, ooh, and even when you were at your worst, you're good, but you might go like, wow, I have come a long way. That's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. The greatest way I seem to be documenting my progress is not necessarily through random little noodles that I've been doing, but it's through things like solo covers. I've uploaded, I think, 1 or 2 Steel Panther covers, maybe
Nice.
2 or 3 times. I think there's 3 different versions of Community Property up there now. And obviously, the most recent one is, I don't mean to sound conceited, but it's pretty spot on. I studied it for ages, but the other ones are just I don't know. I'd say that I think there's might be a little bit of lacking in tone or maybe a different feel somehow. It's just how my ears have changed. Now I've detected everything else. And I feel at the moment I'm the best I've ever been. And I want to keep going.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. And I'm going to ask you a question in a second too about some of the more rewarding things, whether it could be user comments or feedback you receive. But we'll come back to that in a second. I want to say hi to a bunch of people here first. Like I said, we've got a bunch of people jumping in already. We've got Devin is here saying Sweet Blimpus Videos is here. Max Raider 2. Matt and all these people are saying hi. Matt Harrison, Carlo Santin, fellow Canadian here. Happy Friday. This will be funny. Says Kurt Singer's here. Dirty Apes. Our brother from another mother, F.U. Tone, Adam Reaver is here. Always great to see Adam.
F.U. Tone, get in, man.
Love Adam to death. And notice how I'm starting to say F.U. Tone now as opposed to Futone. I think I'm probably the only person on the planet that calls it Futone. But Adam and I always joke, as long as I'm sending him business, he doesn't care what I call him. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But
well,
awesome.
I can send him business. I've got a storm shadow on the wall back here. If you like to just lean back that way, it's just here. We've got one with the FU tone.
Oh, I can't see it on the screen. 1 second. Let's have a look again one more time. Show me one more time.
Oh, can you see it?
Yep, I can on the big screen. Yep. Perfect.
Do you want to bring it down?
Yeah, bring it down for a sec.
Here we go. Literally, don't know how well you can see it, but then we've got springs.
There you go.
Back here.
Nice.
Yeah, it's an absolute beast. This thing.
Red noiseless. That's nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, we got Adam. Fender Guru is here. Hello from New Zealand. Very nice.
New Zealand. Wow, you're up late.
Yeah. Wolverine says, "Hey guys, yes, Guitar Man Cam is here. Can't wait to focus on this and a lesson right now, but peaking from time to time. Very cool." And Blimpus says, "FU in the house." Jeff Alexander, another Canadian friend of mine, a very good friend of mine from the West Coast. So he's 3 hours behind us. He's saying, "Hey guys, wishing you all the best as well too, Jeff." Tony Williams and hey, good evening. Justin Girardi's here. Yo guys, hey Cameron, what's your favorite Van Halen song to play? And he's asking me as well. So let's go with that question. What's your favorite Van Halen song to play? And I think I have an idea.
Oh, what's your idea?
Well, I think it's Balance Era.
It is Balance. It depends on what mood I'm in, really.
Yep.
I can start before I aggravate people. I know the Van Hagar thing is quite a sensitive thing among Van Halen fans, I think.
It's okay.
My favorite Dave Roth song to play is probably it's certain parts, because obviously the Dave Roth stuff is a lot harder to play because it's a lot more technically savvy, and obviously it's a bit more I don't know, niche, I guess. But my favorite Dave Roth song to play is probably Panama, probably.
Okay.
And then closely followed by Hot for Teacher. But my absolute favorite to play, from start to finish, you might be surprised, is the Seventh Seal.
Oh, that's
cool. It's not the most spectacular Van Halen song in the world, but it's just got so much cruise and so much drive. But there are other ones on the Balance album I absolutely love. There's Feeling, which I could play for you guys later on, not all the way through, but I'll take you through the best parts. And Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do is one of my favorites. Just the drop D on that song is just insane. It's just a brilliant solo too, with all the sort of crazy sort of bending techniques and everything else. Really love that track. Other tracks I love to play, excluding the Van Halen, the whole Van Halen stereotype for the minute. Like Can't Get This Stuff No More. Ain't Talking About Love, of course. Hot for Teacher. I like to play Van Halen.
Anything.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
good answers, and there's no right or wrong answer. For me, I'm a Roth guy as well too, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't like the Sammy Hagar era. I do. I love it. I like any era of Van Halen, but I prefer my preference is the Roth. So here around the house, a lot. It's one of these things where it's almost always a go-to riff when you pick up the guitar. So Unchained is up there for me a lot.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, that's
I
just a
think
fun one to
Unchained
chug.
is one of those songs where I think if you hear Unchained, it's one of those ones where the whole mood changes in the room. It's like everybody gets excited when you hear it.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's a brilliant riff. Because I remember once when I was in university, we had a live sound lecture and we were in a small music venue and we were basically testing out the PA and we were putting songs through it. And you had all people plugging in Peter Gabriel, Oasis, and stuff like that. And then once I was like, I'm putting Van Halen on. I just want to hear what Unchained sounds like through a PA system. And it sounded absolutely killer. And everybody was like, who is this? Who is this? And I was like, how do you not know who this is?
Yeah.
It was absolutely killer. Absolutely killer.
Like, just put that back on the wall.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot, man.
So it's probably
go for it.
it's probably Unchained over here a lot, and Eric Jr. will tell you. He always he makes fun of me because I play Eruption every time I pick up the guitar, and I still don't do it right. I've been doing it for since longer than you guys have been alive. I've been playing that song, that solo. I still don't do it right. But he's like, can't you play anything else? And he will actually, what he does to get me back, to get me to stop playing, he'll start singing. If I do a scale or something like that, he'll sing the notes because I play the same thing so much that he'll sing to it. So then what I do to get him back is as I'm climbing up a scale, whatever, I'll play a wrong note on purpose. And then he goes to sing the note and it throws him off. So we fight back and forth that way in a really fun way. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Wicked.
I'll have to try and throw something in like that. You'll have to do it with Spanish Fly to do
Oh,
that
yeah.
run. You know, the famous run for
Yeah.
it. Sing to that.
Yeah, let him try that one.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck. If he can do that, then he needs to be on stage in an opera or something.
Yeah, it'd be
This is a
crazy.
good question from Devin. He says, "I'd like to know what Steel Panther solos Cam doesn't know. Are there some ones that you have some trouble with?"
There are plenty I know that I haven't uploaded, but ones that I know pretty much feel the steel inside out.
Apart from eating and cheating.
Then there's Balls Out. I know a lot off Balls Out. All You Can Eat. I really sort of took the hits, and then Lower the Bar. It's mainly Poontang Boomerang, and
That's when you came in.
and that's when you came in. But that's yet to be revealed, probably.
Okay.
I could play it tonight if I'm in a good mood.
All right.
Oh yeah, I can. I will. I'll play it at some point.
Good. That'll be fun. We'll look
If
forward.
you guys are up for it.
Oh, they're up for it for sure. What we'll do is we'll maybe work that into. There's a bit of a Steel Panther discussion coming up later in the program, so maybe we can work it right around that. That'd be awesome.
That's cool.
That Frank JC's here saying good evening, Eric and friends. Painkiller is here. Hey guys, Futone, Fu and FU are good. He says FNAF Gamers is here saying, hey Eric and Cameron, the reason I'm subscribed to your channel is because my friend James sent me a link to one of your Van Halen covers, and because of how helpful your Spanish Fly cover was. Nice.
Oh wow, thanks a lot.
That's
That's
very
brilliant. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
He's a very young guitarist, and he's doing really well, and he's starting to do some live streams as well too. So that's awesome. So thanks on that to FNF.
Great. That's absolutely awesome.
Awesome. Jack Shea Martin is here. Say what's up, Eric. I'm back. Adam Roach is here from Australia. Good to see Adam. The other Adam.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, this is cool. One Svetlana or Svel, I can't pronounce that. I can't even pronounce it. But he says, "Hi guys, I'm Zapata from Instagram." I do know Zapata, so that's cool. I know that name. Matt Harrison, love all your Charvel stellar collection, my man. Justin
Thank
Grady,
you.
balance kicks serious butt in my opinion. Here's some more nice love coming your way. Mike Francis says, "Hey guys, Cameron Cooper is an amazing guitarist."
Thank you, man.
Jack Shea Martin says, "I just discovered Finish What You Started." There's some talented stuff in that song. Some real good chicken picking riffs, and it's a lot harder than what it looks and sounds.
Yeah.
Here's a good one.
Good.
G-Man Music Production says, "Humans Being," a really good song.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Really
fantastic. See, there are so many songs. When you get asked a question like that, like, oh, what's your favorite song of this, or what, there are so many that just escape.
Do you want to go? Oh yeah, it's definitely that.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, then it's that as well.
Full enough, I did a video not too long ago. Just to stick with the EVH theme, if we both part just for a second, we
Yeah.
do have a Wolfgang in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll get that down. I actually ended up. This is one of 100. I think it's 150 ever made. It's the hardtail version.
Yes.
And I ended up playing a bit of Humans Being on this guitar, and I'm telling you, literally, I just love the Wolfgang, always have. And my favorite batch they ever made were the first USA ones
Hmm.
that they did, and that the cream, I think it's, is it ivory or
Yeah.
cream? I think it's just the cream one
Yep.
that they did in the very beginning. You see loads of photos. Have you heard of, I think I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong, Gert Mertzker?
Yep. Yep.
He's good friends with Liquid Charlie and all these guys. And he posts, yeah, I swear he's building like a Van Halen museum. But
his guitars are almost
yeah,
ridiculously accurate.
but
Could be his.
yeah,
It's amazing.
but he's got the Cream Wolfgang, and to me that guitar, when I first saw it, it was back in what 2007. Oh God, 11 years ago. That guitar to me was just sex, to be honest. It
It's
just looked
beautiful.
amazing. I really thought it was fantastic. And if I was to own another Wolfgang bar this, because this guitar isn't mine, but if I was to own a Wolfgang for myself, it would be the
First
Cream,
USA batch.
from the first USA batch. Yeah.
Nice. I don't have the USA cream version of that one, but I do have the Japanese special, and it's been 100%
Amazing
fully
guitar.
modded from Adam there as well. Everything is stainless steel, titanium, and brass. The whole kit and caboodle from Adam. So it's a real nice player. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a funny thing though with the Wolfgang that we found, because obviously it seems like a crazy thing. Although we haven't had this guitar too long in the grand scheme of things, but we only changed the strings on it
Hmm.
yesterday. And there's a design flaw with the Wolfgang. I don't know if it's a common thing, but you get the I think this is where are we? This is the G string here,
Hmm.
obviously on the headstock. I don't know if you can see obviously the way the headstock curves. You can't get a string wind around it without it colliding.
Oh, I have noticed that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's I know obviously Eddie wants it to outlive him,
Hmm.
but I think that might be a design flaw that needs amending. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being daft, but
No, I've noticed that
it's
as well. I've used just a regular old string winder, plus I've got one of those roadie tuners as well too, and it's awkward. Yeah, so you can
yeah.
do it, but you have to be very delicate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the rigmarole doing it, it's all worth it. I mean, the tone of this guitar is just insane. Literally, I was breaking it in literally just before we got on here, and I absolutely love this guitar. So we can take you through. We've got a selection of guitars on the wall tonight. So if you want us to go through them all, we
Yeah.
absolutely can.
Yeah, we can probably do that.
And yeah, that'd be absolutely great. We could start with this if you like at some point, and then just drift through the rest
That sounds good. Yeah, we'll
and
start
see
with
what
that.
you
Go through
guys
the
think.
Charvels and the Storm Shadow and all of that for sure. Awesome. Perfect. We'll go through a couple more comments and we'll start doing some of that exact very thing. This is a nice compliment to you as well. And we're going to talk about this a lot actually tonight. The amplifier, Fender Guru says, I bought my THR10X because of Cam's videos. And
Thank you.
I think you're kind of one of those guys, probably I'd like to use the word the guy that people kind of go to. And if they haven't heard of the amplifier, it's like when they check you out, it's the talk of the town. And I think that's a huge testament to what you've done. I was watching one of your videos. Now this was an old one. It was about 3 years old. That's old for your channel. And
Yeah,
and
really old.
Yamaha even commented on it. It actually Yamaha Corporation had commented and said, great display, whatever, what you did with it. And that's even back then with camera technology that wasn't as good as what we have today. Audio
Yeah.
quality not as good as we have today. So that's commendable for sure.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I know the video you're on about. It was I did the Van Halen 70s, 80s tone.
Yeah.
And that was one of my first really popular videos that a lot of people tuned into. And it was, yeah, I do remember. I think Yamaha commented on it, I think a year after it was released. And I immediately pinned it to the top because I couldn't believe it.
Of course, sure.
And I think it was just at the end of last year. I'm on LinkedIn if anyone wants to connect with me. And one guy sent me a random message. I didn't believe it at first, but as a bloke called John Kim crossed your radar.
No, not
Yes.
mine. No, I don't know.
He works for Line 6, but obviously Line 6, Steinberger, Yamaha, they're all intertwined.
Yeah.
And essentially, John Kim is the designer, the hero behind the THR. It's just sat
Okay.
here. And he got in touch basically saying, we've just found what you do and thank you so much. And I think if I can really play my cards right, I might have a job with Yamaha at some point,
Wow.
demoing their stuff and getting things sorted. But obviously that's unofficial. Nothing's been sorted yet, but I've been trying to play my cards right and get in there. But yeah, I don't know what I'd do without the Yamaha, to be honest. It's just such a fantastic amp. And I first came across the Yamahas when I saw No, it wasn't Satchel. It was there was a demo of Andertons with a guy called Julian. I've forgotten his second name.
Okay.
But he was playing loads of crazy ideas. It's the first time I've ever seen it being played. But you know the Dave Roth riff, "Don't Piss Me Off."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't believe. When I first heard that, I didn't even know what that would look like. And then I saw him playing it in this review, and it's the way he talks about how it models all of these like Engel Powerballs and all these old Marshalls and Super Stacks, and then the absolute killer for me was when he said, "Fine, this is the high gain Yamaha, yes, but that's what it can do. It's not what you have to use it for. You've got all the gain there. You can just back it off." And what I've got I've got the THR editor, which is so many people ask me about my settings, and I make all my settings in there.
Like if you had £1 for the amount of times you got asked, you'd be loaded.
Yeah, but
loaded.
I've got basically a giant sort of library of new patches, and I've got some killer like Billy Gibbons style passages in there. I made an Eatman smile tone just yesterday, which I will be putting on the channel soon. I might have featured it already. Who knows? But it's just got so many different settings and sounds in it. It's quite unbelievable. And we did a while ago. It was a bit of a flop video, and we took it off. But we managed to get the cult sound, with all the flanger and delay and everything else. Which it wasn't 100%, but it was pretty close. It was surprising for an amp of that size. And that was the point of the video. But then eventually I had sort of an attack of hard cult fans came in. But that's no big deal. It's got some amazing tones in it. AC/DC, Van Halen, Metallica, Dimebag Darrell, you name it. It's all in that amp, and you don't have to be an absolute pro player to get a good sound out of those amps. They're just insane. And it comes with software, Cubase in my case. It's basically, to me, it was like my YouTube starter kit. Really, all you need is a camera and off you go.
Yeah.
To be honest, you can literally just USB it, and that might be a good selling point for it. Yeah. It's literally just the USB. It's just the YouTube starter kit, really.
Yeah.
I literally I've only in recent terms started to use software with my videos properly, because I was originally a bit old school. So I thought
use the camera mic to make it sound more raw.
Yeah, and not more raw, but just more the case of like you're in the room with me.
Yeah.
If you want to really romanticize it, but and also it was a lot easier to upload things and get things faster produced and everything else. Not me slacking, but I was thinking it was easier because I was teaching people and everything else. And then eventually it started to morph into sort of a covers period. And now I'm getting back into the lessons again, and people are really digging it. I just uploaded a video called The Lick That Changed Everything For Me. And loads of people were a bit staggered that was the lick that did it. But now loads of people want to know more about how I've changed my playing. And my story's kind of funny when it comes to learning the guitar, because I've not had the conventional sort of start, if you like. My dad plays guitar, and I started from a very young age. I started at the age of 4, as in I first picked up a guitar and started to learn my own chords and everything else. It was on one of the Squire mini Strats.
Squire I had one as well, but I never used it.
And literally, I wish I still had it. That would have been just the most amazing video. But there are really cool photos of me around with it somewhere. Me with my little ginger head and everything else. It was just in the garden with this little Strat that's almost as big as I am when I'm about 4. And anyway, when you're that age, you can't really commit to anything. You're too bewildered by everything. You can't settle and really commit to something. But I did return to it now and again when I heard something. But the absolute moment when I knew that I wanted to pick up the guitar, I want to say when I was around that age, which meant the love never went away, although I never stuck at it, there was a brief moment where I might have been about 4.5-ish, 4 or 5. I could remember at the moment. I can see it clear as day. I was sat on the living room floor, and I just came in and I just see my dad playing this big orange guitar. Orange being, I think I've told you this story before, just this big orange guitar. And obviously when you're 3 and you sat on the floor, everything's massive.
Sure.
Just everything's huge around you.
Yeah.
And anyway, my dad's just playing with this big blue, it turned out to be a Boss multi-effects unit that was just on the floor. And he was just playing through in headphones, and I could just hear just noises. I can remember just the acoustic sound of electric guitar being played. And then he goes, oh, hey, Cam, listen to this. And he took the headphones off and gave it to me. And he played, it must have been a Van Halen track, because the guitar was a Music Man Axis in trans amber. It was the first
one in Europe.
Yeah, it was the first. It was the one that was reviewed in Guitarist magazine, and it was the first one to come into Europe. We don't have that guitar anymore, but that was the moment where I first heard the guitar and thought, I want to do this. And it was just, it was the way it seemed so effortless. And it might not even have been the best version of Panama in the world. It could have been awful for what I remember. But it was just that moment where I thought, he's making that sound without barely moving his hands. I want to do this.
I suppose it's a bit like the Excalibur moment.
So it's basically, if he can make me feel like this, then if I learn it, I can make other people feel like I'm feeling now.
Yeah.
And that's the way it all began. And obviously, I quit several times in between the ages of probably 4 and I don't know, about 9. And when I think it was one day I came home from school. I was about 9, 10 years old, and walked past my bedroom. And inside that bedroom, on a guitar stand, next to where my baby Squire had been, it had recently been sold, thinking that I'd never have picked it up again. Was a Mexican standard Strat. But what was so compelling about this guitar was the color. It was a color called Flip Flop. I don't know if any of you guys will remember that color.
Yeah,
really old Strat now.
It's a flake finish. It's essentially it changes color depending on the lighting conditions. If you tilt it one way, it could be like a really nice sort of rich, almost emerald green. And tilt it again in the other light, it's like a really rich bluey purple color. And it's almost two-tone, like a TVR car.
Nice.
Absolutely insane guitar. I was literally just looking at it thinking,
that was killer.
Yeah, this is destiny now. Yeah, and I started, because it was a Strat, I was picking up all these new riffs. I started off on, my first riffs were a real contrast. My first riff I ever learned was Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be by AC/DC. And I still play it now, and I absolutely love it. Another riff that I learned, it was just as a complicated one. It wasn't ZZ Top. It was The Man on the Silver Mountain by with Richie Blackmore, and because obviously it involved your fingers.
Yes.
So I was just thinking, well, I don't have a pick yet, so I was just literally before I was just chugging with my fingers, if that is even possible. But yeah, that's how I got started, and it's just a gradual progression ever since. And I was just inspired by what guitars and everything that my dad used to bring back. And then eventually it was like, right, you're having a guitar of your own. And I got a Big Apple Strat in 2011 for Christmas, which I still have now, and it's exactly the same age as me. So there's some emotional investment in there for sure. And then in 2012, where, if you like, shit got serious when it came to my playing, and I thought, we're doing this now. We're committing to this every day. Was 2012 when I got a Charvel, and it is this blue monster. I got it in 2012, and was it 2012?
Yeah, it was 2012.
Yeah, April 2012.
It was one of the last Charvels.
Yes, they just
before the Shimano came in.
They just continued these, and they were selling them cheap. And we had one basically. We tried it out against a
Candy Red SoCal.
Yeah, a Candy Red SoCal, and I think another one of these Sandimases. It was identical, but this one just had a sort of sharper edge to it, which I really clung to at the time, and also it felt better. And that was back in the days when I had really long hair. If you guys go on my Instagram, you'll see literally pictures of me with dead long, like heavy metal hair, which obviously is a thing of the past now for me. But
how you wound up getting that cut was a completely different story.
Yeah, but that's essentially the story of how I got into the guitar and everything else. And I
think your
dad's
where
it's always been.
Your
dad's been a gradual progression ever since.
I like it. Your dad's probably got some real pride there as well too, because he had a little bit of a starting push for you. So the fact that he gave you the headphones to listen to something he was playing, I know if I was a dad, I am a dad, but I mean if it happened to me that way, I would be pretty proud the fact that oh wow, I got him interested because he's listening to me play through the headphones. So that's a real cool thing for your dad as well too. And I know from what you shared with me off the air too, he's been a huge influence. So awesome dad, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's been literally my my biggest critic. If you like, and he's my number one fan too. And as I say, the way I started playing the guitar and getting better at it was definitely not the norm. I've never had a lesson in my life, and I've never had any training of any kind. I don't know my theory, although I do act out very well in that I do know my theory, because
very good facade.
Yeah, because some people, I know my notes, I know my keys, that's fine. That's just come from training the ear and then learning what was what. But say I get friends in uni who obviously play guitar. I do a music business course, and I get some guitarists who I know who will say, "Hey, Cam, play an augmented fifth," or something like that. I don't know what the hell they're on about.
Mm-hmm.
But then if they showed it to me, then I know what it is. And that's the way it's always been. I just tend to act out as almost sometimes as if I do know my theory, and I really don't. It's just ego. This is how I play it, and hope that you can follow it. And I know many people can, because I feel like I've been a gradual I'm building my skills as a
Mm-hmm.
teacher gradually, and I hope it helps. You know, I've been trying to get everything really concisely put together. Another thing too that might surprise a lot of people is I've never used tab in my life.
Wow.
I've never used tab. When I say I never used tab, I knew that it wasn't for me after one experience, which was I learned, you know, the intro to Diary of a Madman with all the modal
Mm-hmm.
chords and everything else.
Yeah.
You spent forever learning.
It took me forever to learn literally the first like 3 positions and the actual picking sequence of it. And obviously, when you're watching it on tab, it's just numbers, and the way it's played, it's obviously does like this almost like up and down or zigzag thing when you see it on the tabs.
Like a wave.
And I'm looking at it thinking it's completely and utterly bewildering, and then I'm playing it thinking I'm doing a lot of read write doing this. I'm like, this sucks. I do this at school. I
Yeah.
don't want to do this when it comes to playing the guitar. And I put on the track and I started to suss it out faster. My ears knew where everything was. I think that came about because I just knew where all the notes were on the fretboard already. Because I'd been exposed to it at such a young age, I knew that obviously the thicker strings are for lower notes. This sounds really simple, but the thicker strings are obviously for lower notes. The thinner strings are for higher notes. You go this way, it's lower. You go this way, it's higher. And somehow there was this sort of almost epiphany where you understood. And it clicked. Even if you can't harness or write a tune yet at that age, you know where everything is. Even if you can't find it by name or quick recall yet, you know roughly where you're at. And that's how I sort of learned to almost disobey tab almost. And I have nothing against people who use tab without any means at all. Like, because tab is fantastic for a lot of people. And to be honest, the only time I ever tend to look at it where I'm completely and utterly baffled is for fingerings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
get the right position.
for certain chords, I haven't a clue sometimes. I can be a real pain. But I think another thing with tab is I couldn't detect the rhythm properly or the little mini feels.
Okay.
Like for instance, I remember trying to learn "I'm the One"
Oh,
by
geez.
tab because I couldn't even I couldn't imagine what the whole shuffle feel
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and everything else. I think a lot of people now of my generation want to try and see what they're learning.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm late to the party with everything. Check now, I'm late to the stream tonight. I'm late for everything. But I was obviously late to the internet, so I was just stuck with learning by ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to learn "I'm the One" when I was about 15, obviously secretly, so no one could hear me.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be awful. But I was learning it, and I'm thinking this shuffle idea. I was like, I don't even know what this would look like. So eventually I started to try and look at tabs. And then obviously it was that staggered rhythm, and I pretty much, gave up.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't detect the rhythm through tab. But whereas with the listening to the record, I just gradually started to almost sync up and start to think. Sometimes I could hear it and I'd understand, but I can't play it yet.
Yep.
That makes sense. Because the learning, whenever I try and tell someone this, is they say, what do I need to do to get better at this? What do I need to do to get better at that? It's learning what excites you the most. And usually, if you hit a plateau of any kind,
Like something completely different.
Yeah, because the learning takes place in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually your brain, if you understand enough what you are learning, what you're trying to learn, it doesn't matter if it's Back in Black or the solo to Big Trouble with Steve Vai.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what you're hearing, your brain will send the message to your hands and your hands will deliver the message. And that's the way I've always learned. And it's just been trial and error, and constant rigmarole. I put in so much time in my early years, between probably ages 13 and 16. I was doing so many hours a day to the point of almost failing all my school exams.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I got through. But I was doing so long periods of time.
And at the same time, when you play the guitar, when Cameron is often associated with being a rock player, both of us. I mean, I'm a bass player. We have loads of different influences which may not be associated with the rock genre. Like say for you, for instance, you were massively influenced by the Edge when you were younger. Dread the thought we're an EVH gear.
Hey, that's okay. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, I know. The Edge was just a master of melody for me, and obviously, and U2 was my first gig. So I saw them at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester, and it was when Vertigo came out and everything else, and also I grew up listening to things like Elevation. I was just amazed at what the guitar could do, and obviously then I remembered then I discovered what effects pedals were, and then discovered that the Edge was in essence a bit of a fraud.
Well, the Edge is on my top 10 list. I have a top 10 list of guitar players, not just that for talent, but top 10 guitarists that you just cannot replace. You know how someone quits the band and you can, everyone's always disappointed, but that guitar player can probably be replaced. Well, in my opinion, some bands just you can't replace them, like Eddie Van Halen and Van Halen. I look at Alex Lifeson from Rush. I look at Tom Morello. And people might say Tom Morello, but no, seriously. And then of course the Edge. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what he does. His effects or a vocal style. I shouldn't say a vocal style, but they kind of are. They do sing. You can sing his guitar parts. So definitely a candidate for the you can't remove from the band list. You can't change it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of people obviously say that the Edge is all effects, but it doesn't affect the notes he chooses.
Exactly.
It just affects how long they often go on for.
Exactly.
I think the only time where I think the Edge got almost, I don't want to say lazy because that's not true. I think there's an element where sometimes the effects almost do too much. Like we can't hear you now. Yes, you're playing, but it's not your fingers we're hearing. It's the effects pedal. And it's songs like Mysterious Ways and the Elevation's probably my top example. And I can't really think of many more right at this moment, but I know there are many more out there.
Most people that would criticize
like that where I'm thinking, maybe not quite what I was expecting from the Edge, but that's how he was my biggest influence in the beginning, and also I thought he just looked dead cool.
Yeah, he's a rock star for
sure. I think when I was in the middle of learning, because obviously given all the equipment that the Edge had, I didn't have that when I was that age, obviously, and I still don't now, and I know I don't want it. But the Edge, obviously, I couldn't play all of his riffs, so I just gradually started to learn things like your AC/DCs, ZZ Top, and
getting into the early stages.
I didn't discover Van Halen until I was about 14. I knew, this is going to sound really daft. I thought because I knew of Van Halen, the band and the music and everything else, but I didn't understand the significance of Van Halen in rock history until I watched a video of, full enough, this is convenient, Eddie Van Halen doing a solo in Toronto in 1995. I'm sure every single Van Halen fan has seen that solo at some point. And I couldn't believe my eyes, to be honest, when I saw that, because you've heard all of these things and everything else.
You very rarely get a jaw-dropping moment.
But you don't understand the significance of Eddie Van Halen. And I just couldn't believe my eyes, as I say. And then my dad told me about him, and then I was hooked from there on. I listened to everything he ever did. And my dad, between you and I, used to collect a lot of bootlegs.
Oh yeah,
and
all the Van Halen
fans used to have
do.
loads of bootlegs and everything from Van Halen and everything else. We had a really rare gig from Montreal that I couldn't stop watching.
The '84 one.
Sorry.
'84 Montreal.
Yeah, it's probably on YouTube somewhere now. But we thought we were it.
Yeah.
Well, I did anyway, because I thought, we can see Dave Roth in his prime without swearing at everything else. And also I used to hear obviously a lot of my dad's sort of like favorite stories of all of the rock gigs. He was at he lived like an absolute dream of mine actually. And to be fair, this to me is unbeatable. He was at Donington '84. And on that bill,
was it Ozzy third, Van Halen second, and AC/DC top?
No. Think about not even top three. You got AC/DC at the top, which is insane in itself. They were on the Flick of the Switch tour, which it's a shit album, but it's still AC/DC. But
Gary Moore was on.
But then you've got Van Halen second, Ozzy third. I think Gary Moore below that, Motley Crue at the bottom, which is still it's Motley Crue.
Yeah.
And
Scorpions were on as well, I think.
I think you had, YNT and another one. I think it was not Accept. I think it might have been Accept. I don't know. But
and you had Scorpions and people like that
it was
as well.
Just the most insane set. It was incredible. And I'd have gone mad that day. And apparently Ozzy was the best on the day with Jake. And yeah, and ever since hearing all these stories, he basically, I come from obviously the school of rock of Van Halen and everything else. But one thing that really got me started around that time of discovering Van Halen and everything else was Jake E. Lee. And Jake E. Lee's a huge influence on me.
Oh, that's nice to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake's been literally a lot of people say on my videos whenever I upload a Jake lesson, because I like Jake E. Lee's playing because of just simply how weird it is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people criticize me by saying, "Oh, you never play Zach stuff. Oh, you never play Randy Rhoads stuff." I love those guys so much. And to be honest, I think Randy Rhoads was the best guitar player overall, given without sounding really corporate, the music sort of market at the time, the influence, how he was classically trained. He was
challenging the status quo.
Absolutely, he was. He was. I've heard a documentary somewhere saying that he was giving Eddie a run for his money, and he absolutely was on a wholly different technical level.
Yes.
He had the Coke and Pepsi at the time. It was Eddie and Randy Rhoads. And also Randy Rhoads was at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. He was obviously known for Les Pauls and hardtails, and he was just left to command with his fingers, no help of bending or anything. Oh, obviously, I mean whammy bars.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it was all with the power of the fingers.
And also, he had a very unique tone for the time period as well, because obviously Eddie had the Brown sound.
Yeah.
And then Randy Rhoads, I can almost describe it. It's almost like a very sizzly type of distortion.
Yeah, very identifiable.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody else replicate a tone like that. I mean, it's almost like when you hear somebody playing that kind of tone, you immediately think, "Oh, it's definitely Randy Rhoads inspired," or it could even be Randy Rhoads. It's one of those types of tones, really.
I remember one of the first distortion pedals I bought was because of Randy Rhoads. It was the MXR Distortion Plus. I mean, you put that through a
yellow
Marshall.
one.
Yeah, you put that through a Marshall, and man, I actually miss that pedal. I'd like to have that again sometime, just to relive it. Maybe I wouldn't like it as much as I did as a kid. It's like going back and playing an old video game. You had a video game as a kid, and it was amazing to you, and then you go back and play it again. 20 years later, you're like, this isn't as cool as I thought. So it might be the same thing with the pedal, but I'd certainly like to relive it and try it one more time.
Yeah. Do you want to be amazing? Obviously, you said you put it through a Marshall.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that was pretty dimed up to get the effect out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Imagine, obviously, I'm looking at the 5150 behind you. Imagine on the clean channel, not the clean channel, the crunch channel for that.
I bet you it's nice.
To drive the crunch channel just enough and then boost it with the distortion plus.
That'd be cool.
That'd just be unbelievable. That's what I barely conceivable. My mind can barely conceive that. That's insane. Just imagine. What can we be? I imagine. I don't know.
We'll have to
any questions? I'm just thinking, by the way,
Yeah.
of obviously the chat and everything else, because I can't see it.
Yeah, I'll jump back over there right now. But actually, that would be a very cool thing to do, and we'll try that here on the show. So yeah, there are a few more questions and comments as well too. These go back to when we were talking about the favorite Van Halen songs. And Matt Harrison says Unchained Drop C, and Drop C actually loves playing that. Daktar says, "Hey Eric and Cam, love the Type 2 vid, and hello to your bro." He says. Devin saying, "I'm looking forward to it." Oblivious Video says, "Drop it down and crank. It's about time." Yeah, good song. And talk about love for Daktar. Justin Garrity says, "Cam's brother does an awesome job with all the video production. So hats off to you there, Angus, for sure." Yeah, and that's nice to have because I do most of the production here myself. Junior helps me a lot when he's available, and he's more of like
he's a real dude. He is.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's an absolute dude. I see your Instagram.
Yeah, and they always tell you shouldn't shoot by yourself anyways. It's always good to have someone. I mean, okay, are you in focus? Focus is like major. Just have someone to do focus for you is great. But
oh man,
it does help.
You saw Cameron and I when we're shooting videos. The amount of times, I'm telling you now, we argue all the time in terms of camera angles. Like I say, no, I could go to him. No, we're having it like this. No, we're zooming in a little bit more. He's like, no, we're not. Yeah. Like,
trust me.
We're putting together. You know, Greg Koch has got like the the outtake reels from Wildwood Guitars.
Yeah.
We've been making an outtake reel thing for about 2 years, and we're going to put them all together and probably release them one Christmas in the future.
We'll probably release it when we hit 10,000.
Oh, we've got some absolute classics.
That'd be good.
Some of them are so funny. Yeah. Like we've had some random ones where like obviously we record it at home, and we've got dogs here. Okay, we've had some before now where literally we've had dogs wake up halfway through we're talking and they'll fly charging out the room to
try and eat the postman
while I'm in the middle of teaching and everything else. Some of them are just so funny, it's just insane. And then, what can I say? yeah, we've got tons of outtakes we could throw in. You absolutely love it. It'd be dead funny.
I save a lot of mine too, not on purpose. I definitely don't save on purpose. I just usually don't delete my files until after because I never know if I want to steal something from an old video, the raw files. And Junior, he'll make me laugh, and I have a hard time sometimes recomposing myself. And then he'll be in here. Get this, believe it or not, Angus, you'd appreciate this being a producer and a director. He's only 12 years old, so I'll be saying my lines because when I do my one-off videos, like if I'm doing a demo on a product, it'll be all I have a script I follow very closely, and I'll read it, and then he'll say, "Okay, now do you want to do it with some enthusiasm? You sound like a robot. You want to put a smile on your face."
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
we have something in common there because, like I say, sometimes Cameron, let's say when Cameron could be doing a review of the guitar or doing a lesson or something like that, and I could just randomly stop it, and he would just go, "What do you stop me for?"
Yeah, what I do.
It's like sound happy, because sometimes he's like.
And then you know what? He's. I bet you think he's right, don't you? Because when you do it, and you might get frustrated and mad, and then you speak, and you're doing it as you're actually smiling through your teeth as you're speaking, and it becomes more fun again. And you're like, he's right. He's right.
Yeah. We are laughing so much. Literally, there are some videos where I'm actually. I think it's in the recent Santiago video.
Okay.
It's the Style 2 video. I play It's Showtime at the start, and then break into a little bit of like a solo thing. And there's one tapping part where I start to do. It was completely not the improv, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I hadn't even thought about it, and it just came out. And I started to laugh in astonishment, and I made you laugh, and then we finished it, and we were just chuckling about it. Although you can't hear it, we left it in because I'm pulling the most, honestly, quite an evil-looking smile.
It was like you discovered fire.
Yeah, no, it was just a laugh, and we caught it on camera. Although you can't hear it, we put it in because we wanted you guys to imagine what we might have been laughing about.
That's hilarious. I do like that, and that's the thing too. When you make people laugh. Especially when they're learning. If they come to your channel to watch some videos to learn some stuff and they're laughing too, that's why your channel is popular. And a lot of the other people that mix some humor in, just like school. You might have had some teachers in school where you hated the class to death. All of a sudden you get a teacher that comes in and adds a little bit of humor and some fun to the class. It's like, hey, the school's not too bad, man. I like this.
Yeah, it's usually having spontaneity in videos is probably one of the main things we focus on.
Yeah.
So whenever Cameron picks up a guitar, like, so we have usually whenever we plan videos, we go, oh yeah, this is the topic we're going to cover. And then
just thinking about this wire here, just one second.
Yeah, and then we just see how it goes from there. And that's where often quite a lot of our outtakes just come out. They just come out of nowhere.
That's right.
I mean, because obviously whenever we film our videos as well, it's not like it's just us two in the room. We have 4 dogs sleeping right next to us.
Wow.
So it's literally, we have 4 dogs sleeping like right next to us. Like one of them's like a puppy, one of them's like old and sleeps all the time, one's really alert and all that sort of stuff. It's brilliant. It's like, so it's a real mix. It's absolutely fantastic.
It must be difficult too at times. I mean, just with space and not wanting to wake one up or disturb one or trip over one.
We should just make a channel for the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, you could just be like a run-along channel for the dogs. And to be honest, the best dog we have, she's in every video, although you can't actually see it. She's straight CDC. But see, these are the things we laugh about on camera. But you completely threw me off track. There's one dog that we have in every single video, although you can't see it. She has emerged in 1 or 2. We have a golden retriever that's blind. She has basically she had glaucoma years ago, and she's a real rock chick. She often when I first did the review of the 5150, her head was right next to the speaker cab.
Oh jeez.
She was just literally just lying there like, yeah, I can get used to this.
Yeah, and because obviously, although she has no eyes, she has so much expression on her face. So because usually she pants like 90% of the time, and it looks like she's smiling. She's like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, she's just rocking away.
Well, that's the thing. It's like parents having children, and their moms or dads play guitar or loud music all the time, and the child can sleep through it no problem, because they're used to it from the onset. So that's probably like that with the dogs. You've been doing it forever; they're used to it. So the dogs would probably be more freaked out if you guys were quiet all the time. I bet you.
Yes, to be honest, that even freaks me out. Like normally, I tend to go to sleep where I try and get sleep early night because I don't sleep a lot. But sometimes it will be silence that wakes me up.
Okay.
And we live next to a road, so literally normally there are cars going to and from, And normally when it's completely and utterly silent, I think I go into alert mode where I hear something. I must be like just a really heavy sleeper, but as soon as it gets quiet, I'm up and about. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, good man. Where did that come from?
So you
But
need a bit of
the,
background noise, yeah.
I think it stemmed from video production, and then it just moved on to how we record videos, outtakes, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's so easy to get sidetracked. It's all good. It's all good. We'll jump to a few more questions over here in the chat, and then I'm going to come back and ask you about you can think about your answer to this too, because one of your videos you talked about using a looper pedal that was very helpful to you to grow and learn as a guitar player. So you can think about this for a second while we jump to the chat, but think of some other things too that you might be able to share with some of the younger guitar players, or even guitar players, my age, that could be struggling with their playing and looking for a boost. So think about that answer there. G-Man Music Production says, "Hey Cam, it's great to see a young player like you carrying the torch and ripping it up." And I've heard that a lot about you as well too. A lot of people that were requesting you to come on the show, saying like, you're really, carrying the torch for the Van Halen fans, for the younger generation, which is awesome. FNF Gamer says, "I heard Dreams the first time earlier, and I have to say that it's straight fire. It's a good tune." And here again, this is G-Man Music Productions. I bought the THR10X and agree. It's VH in the box. Darren Moore, good buddy, Moore Rock and Roll says, "Hey, I've seen some of Cameron's stuff, favorite VH riffs, etc., and it's all great. You got to check him out too. He's a great player."
What was his name again?
Darren Moore. Yeah, check him out. Yeah, I think
I've heard of that guy. Actually.
Yeah,
I might have seen him before. I don't want to make fleeting references. I could have got completely the wrong guy. That name's actually very
He'd be
familiar.
about your age. He's your age, very young, and he's on Instagram. I'll shoot you his Instagram after if you're not hooked up with him already.
I think I've seen him before. Yeah,
he's a real Roth guy as well. Like myself, we always talk about Dave Lee Roth all the time. Dak says, "I love my Revstar. Yamaha is an awesome builder of musical instruments. They sure are. And the fact that they're together with Line 6 and stuff like that is tremendous. And I'm really, obviously now I've started a whole new show because of Line 6. You don't have to tell me how much their product is awesome. And they bought Line 6.
They're the Helix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a story in itself right there. Fender Guru says, "I've got a 2010 made in Japan Wolfgang Special. That's I think mine is a 2008, I think. Or maybe it is 10, but that's a nice one. That's a nice guitar."
That's a 2015, I think, that one.
Okay. That would be right. That'd probably be right, yeah. Dak Tarson, he would love an SG, but yeah. And this is cool. Yeah, Matt Harrison says, "Have you heard that Jack White is playing a Wolfgang now?" Yeah, he's been playing one for a bit, but he did something.
I told you that last night.
Yeah,
I did see that. I just didn't think it was Jack White.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about you. I always envisioned Jack White as that sort of. Obviously, he played Gretches.
Yep.
And I always just envisioned him as this very sort of almost hipstery with he always had a hat on. I don't know why, if it's just me. I always thought this is I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if anyone agreed, but he reminded me a lot in the earlier days. He reminded me a lot in looks of Johnny Depp a bit.
I can see that.
A bit.
I can see that.
Bit.
Yeah.
I do mean a bit. He doesn't look anything like him generally. It was like he almost modeled himself on him a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah.
But when I first saw that photo of him with the Wolfgang, I was like, seriously, that's Jack White.
Yeah.
He's modeled it as well.
He doesn't look anything like it. Not like I remember anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised to see that he's playing the Wolfgang. And to be honest, loads of musicians are making different changes in their playing. Like obviously, Satchel moved to Charvel, that's no question.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the surprise for me, fully enough, ignoring all the stuff that's come out with PRS, was John Mayer.
Yeah.
When he moved to when he played that Charvel, which he had modelled on an old skateboard that he had when he was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that blue Charvel?
I have, but I didn't know it was modeled after that though.
Yeah, I ended up reading about it, and I thought it was absolutely awesome the way it was done. That guitar was spec'd up. It's just like any Charvel. It's like older body. I think it's obviously a maple neck. I think it might be caramelized. I don't recall.
Board, I think.
Yeah, ebony board, just the blackest of ebony.
With a Wolfgang humbucker.
Yeah. Well, no, it's two Wolfgangs.
Oh, is it pairs?
Yeah, it's two Wolfgangs. Original Floyd, but it's all battered and aged, like really, really old.
Relict, yeah.
I can't remember the name of the paint job. It's just the most awesome blue ever. It's like candy blue, but brighter, and it's got a snake sort of skull heavy metal sort of decal on it, which it just oozes sort of heavy metal, which you wouldn't have thought from John Mayer. And what really interested me was the sort of Gibson style knobs that it had on it. I was like, why has he chosen them? It's a bit unusual, but it's not bad at all. It was just an unusual choice. And it turned out he had the aesthetics and looks of the guitar modeled on an old skateboard that he had. And I thought that was just a brilliant idea. And I had a cool idea for based off, because that guitar got me thinking of, like, if I was to make a guitar with like a crazy sort of custom paint job, what would I go for? And I had two ideas. You get opal rock that you get in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
It's mega expensive. It's more expensive than diamond, and it creates this really cool sort of rainbow sort of tapestry in the rock. I thought that's really decent, and also to have a rock guitar made and designed after a rock, you can't get more rock than that.
That's right.
Really, let's be honest.
You call it the rock.
Yeah, you literally could call it the rock, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And then my other design would be someone will steal this from me now, but it's probably, if not, it already exists. Was you get the Aboriginal sort of cave drawings, like
Yes.
dotty lizards and everything else. You often tend to see them on the back of like boomerangs
Yeah.
that people sell to tourists. And I was like, just imagine that on a guitar.
Yeah.
Even if it was something crazy like a flying V or something. Like, this is the way I've always thought.
It looked like a medieval weapon.
Yeah, and then you had obviously John Mayer who got a Charvel.
Mm-hmm.
Jack White's got a Wolfgang.
Guthrie from Sir to Charvel.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing how many people change.
Yeah.
And one thing that I don't know, I'll throw a question at you guys. Obviously Carvin went bust.
I wonder who Steve Vai's moved
Who's
to.
Steve Vai going to? What do you reckon? Orange, I'm thinking.
That's a good one. A lot of people were saying Marshall right off the get-go, but Orange, that's a good one.
Because if you look in all of his
Recent clinics,
yeah,
he was using an orange.
Yeah, recent clinics, he's using an orange, and also he did a series of interviews for a channel called Glow Living, I think,
Okay.
which some of you might have seen, where he just talks about his lifestyle.
It's very philosophical. Isn't it?
Yeah, but he's just sat in the harmony hut, and the amp that's in the center of shot is a Legacy 3, and on the shelf above it is an orange, but with Vai's name on it, the logo and everything.
Really? Interesting.
Yes. Yeah, so maybe he's got a signature amp with orange coming out. Who knows?
And then ironically enough, next to that is a 5153.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I can't imagine Steve Vai joining EVH though.
No,
it sounds too different.
Yeah, I don't think it would.
Nothing against EVH at all. It just wouldn't work. It sounds too different, I think.
I think
Just
they'd
the
be
way I
happy to
see
have
it.
him, but I don't think it's the amplifier for him. I just don't. Yeah.
No, the EVH. I think we can agree on this. Hopefully, is the EVH has got a bit more of a rougher edge to it, whereas the Legacy is just super smooth.
Unless Steve Vai goes like what Zach Wilde did and starts making his own amps.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't join someone else. Keep the rivalry going.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's a big undertaking to do and to do it right. Some people have done it, successfully. I mean, look at Flea back in the day. Junior's got one of his basses here, the Flea bass of the Flea bass line,
Awesome.
and he got into making his own basses, and then he realized this is actually work. This is hard work, and it's not that easy. Sometimes it is easier to put your name on, on another brand and have them manufactured. It's just your signature. So I think that's probably the safest way to go for most artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also now, considering obviously all these guys are in a period where obviously their careers are still going really, really strong. They've still got it. They're just older than they were. And now we live in a period where it's just endless choice.
Yes.
Like
no.
now, for instance, take guitarists like the likes of Slash, Edge, Steve Vai even. They don't even need to go out anymore with a head, a cab, and a stack of Doom. Literally, I've got two great examples. You've got Guthrie Govan, who's obviously on tour with Hans Zimmer. He did the whole lot with a Kemper. I was speaking to him. He came to my uni back in November. There's a photo of us with him on Instagram. And I spoke to him about the Hans Zimmer gig, basically saying, how did you get that job? And I hate to ask a gear question, but how did you manage that? There's 80 people on stage. And obviously, I know you've got quite a big rig. How was that done? And he said, I used a Kemper, just DI'd straight in, had a literally like a footboard for everything and all my sounds in it, and it worked out great. And then you had...
and even when he was at the clinic, sorry to sidetrack you, even when he was at the clinic, he actually had like an Axe Effects on the floor.
Okay.
An Axe 8.
An Axe 8, yeah.
And so basically you don't need an amp and a head and a cab to make sound anymore necessarily. And even when, full enough, when I got on stage with Steel Panther, literally there was nothing on the floor. It was literally just thinking, what if I do need to change channel? What if Satchel's off mingling with girls over there?
Yeah.
What if I have to change the channel? And anyway, I looked at the pedal board, and it's just this big red box thing, and I had no idea what it was. I just caught the word fire on the end of it, and he used what's known as atomic amps.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, atomic amps, the amplifier, and as soon as I saw that, it's basically an Axe-Fx, but without all of the. It's got all this. It's literally the same components as an Axe-Fx, just with none of the sort of the finer details and the tweaking room, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just got the basic sort of generic sort of circuitry of an Axe-Fx and the power, and it models I think everything from your 5150 to your tweeds and everything. And I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. I was like, that does that. I was literally next to that on the stage, and you're thinking he must have some power stack. And I knew he used EVHs before, and he still records with them in the studio. But I couldn't believe what I saw. Literally, it was just DI'd straight in. It was a modeler on stage. It just proves you don't need it anymore.
That is absolutely amazing. See, I did not know that. I did not know that he was using. That's fantastic. Let's segue. Let's segue for a second on like I'm familiar with the pedal. That's awesome for sure. Let's segue and continue on with that discussion. Tell us how that ended up you having some conversations with the guys through some YouTube videos, and I think you're jumping on one of the singer's videos or something like that, and everyone's like, "Hey, Cam's here," and it kind of caught some attention. Who's this Cam guy? And then where did that take you from there? Tell us that story.
As in with the Steel Panther story.
Yeah.
Where it all began was I joined a live stream where it was a lower the bar sort of live stream thing where they played, I think, 5 songs of the new album live. I can't remember where it was, but I ended up joining this stream and basically just said hi to everyone. And
everybody went, oh my God.
Yeah, but I don't know if I just joined the stream at the right time or whatever, but anyway, loads of people were going, oh my God, Cam's here, oh my God. Well, okay, guys. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Here for Steel Panther.
Yeah, but basically, I was very humbled. Just like, thanks a lot. I really, really appreciate it. And out of nowhere, I got a message from the actual host of the stream. Obviously, it was Steel Panther's channel, basically saying, who are you? What are you doing here? You've obviously kicked up quite a stir. And they sent me their email address. And they said, we know you cover a lot of our stuff. Just send us an email. And I was like, wow, okay. You know when you just can't believe it?
Yep. Too good to be true.
Not
kind of
convinced. And anyway, I got in touch with them. I sent a load of emails of all my covers I've done, and this is long before I used software. And it was everything from your Death to Metal, Community Property,
Asian Hooker, If You Really, Really Love Me,
17 Girls in a Row.
Burn to Be Wonderful.
I basically sent them all to them, basically. I got an email back within about
48 hours, if that.
Yeah.
Around that time, yeah. And it was Michael on the end of the email, basically saying, "Dude, you killer." I was like, "Thanks a lot." I think he ended it as like, "Dude, how old are you?" That's fantastic. And then at the end, it was Michael Starr, hell yeah, in emojis, which I thought was really nice.
And then he shared it on Facebook.
And then I got a load of congratulations messages on Facebook, basically saying, Michael Starr shared your page, well done. And I couldn't believe it. What can I say? I was like, wow, I've been recognized. And I knew that I was going to be seeing them again. I just didn't know when. But anyway, we left it to the side for a while. I thought, wow, I've been shouted out. My subscribers went up quite a bit. I gained about 500, I think, overnight just from that one share.
That's great.
And yeah, I couldn't believe it. And basically, it came around to seeing them again. I ended up getting the VIP for Christmas, which I couldn't be more grateful for, obviously, because of how the result turned out. But anyway, everything was built up. I ended up meeting Michael and basically some of the tour manager folk before the show began. We met outside, and basically I reminded him of who I was. I basically sort of came up to him, basically sort of shook his hand, basically said, "It's a pleasure to meet you." And I reminded him, basically saying, I can't remember what I said to him. I think it was something along the lines of, does the name Cameron Cooper ring a bell? The guitar player. And he goes, "Oh yeah." I was like, "I'm him. Thank you so much." You shared my page, and what can I say? I couldn't appreciate it more. And I'll be dead honest, I was a bit cheeky, and I said, because you don't get anywhere without being a little bit cheeky. You just got to be nice about it. And I basically asked, is there any chance I could come on stage to do a track? I know you do it sometimes. Yeah, so always leaning on it.
Yeah.
Then he basically just went, ask Satchel.
I just said, ask Satchel, it's his band. And I said, that's cool, we're seeing you at the meet and greet later. I look forward to seeing you.
He went, oh, cool. And then we got to listen to a sound check.
And then he vanished, everything disappeared. So I thought, might be in there.
Yeah.
Oh, we might be in there.
Chance.
But still, it wasn't a firm deal yet. So we're still excited. We want to keep trying. Anyway, to cut the long story short, we went in, waited in this little room in the Apollo, where there's about 70 people waiting to do the meet and greet. It's insane. The package was massive. They all made a ton of money from doing it.
They were.
But anyway, we were all put into like a queue of obviously people to come around and meet the band. And you sent off into like a little private sort of corridor where you can meet them and get your photo taken.
And you basically had a couple of minutes.
And a funny thing is that they walked past the room before they actually set up and everything. So everyone's cheering. They've seen them before you go around and meet them, which is kind of cool. So it kills the tension, if that makes sense. Anyway, we were second up in a queue of about 70. And me, normally at this point, keeping in mind, Satchel is probably my number one guitar player. Not for what he stands for, but for his guitar playing.
Of course.
Skill. And he basically I normally tend to freeze at this point. I'm quite a shy guy in the flesh, really. But basically I sort of came around the corner really confident, like, hey guys, how are you? It's a pleasure to meet you. Shook all your hands and everything.
But when that was going on, Michael tapped Satchel on the shoulder.
What nearly killed me was basically obviously Michael recognised who I was. And he basically, I saw just in my sort of I think it might have been in my peripheral vision when I was shaking hands with Styx. The way it worked was he had Styx, Michael, Satchel, and then Lexi at the far end of the row. And anyway, I saw sort of Michael sort of almost elbow Satchel, like saying, it's this guy. And then, oh God.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? You're thinking, oh, this is just not happening. Anyway, I got to Satchel and basically just shook down and said, thank you so much. You're my absolute guitar hero. Couldn't appreciate it more. And what was really weird, I got a two-handed handshake. You never get these, especially from your number one. It's like, thank you, no, thank you.
That's cool.
That kind of thing. He was totally not reversing. It's like, no, thank you. You're a legend. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And I basically just asked, could I play a song in the set? Could I come on stage to play a track with you? And he looked at the guys almost as if it was like an ambush question. And basically said, I'm half expecting, sorry, we don't do that thing anymore. That's what I'm expecting anyway. But the way it turned out was literally, he just said, he looked at the rest of the band and just went,
I'm totally up for that.
He just said, I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally down for that. And I'm like, it was that easy? It was one of those moments where we couldn't believe our luck, you know. And he basically said, what do you know? And I said, my absolute dream is to play Asian Hooker or Glory Hole or something along those lines. And I've just learned Poontang Boomerang as well. I don't mind. I've pretty much got the set down.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, cool. We'll see you then. We'll try and work you into the first half of the set. And apart from that, we'll see you then. And then eventually you've got your photo taken, you shoved it off by the tour manager.
Then we were waiting on the fact it was like they've said yes. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, you're thinking, right, you've got a yes. So that's amazing. I've almost got the impression that Michael might have spoken to Satchel already, almost as if to say, there's this kid who wants to come up. He's really good, or it's something like that. That maybe there was some forethought, I think, in
broke the ice
response.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what was said, or maybe nothing was said. But anyway, we were shown out of this room. We ended up going into the venue, and the gig proceeded as normal. And anyway, the set went on and on and on. Asian Hooker came up, and they looked at me. I'm right on the barrier.
Okay. Of that. You do actually see that.
Yeah, we have footage of it somewhere. But literally, the Satchel looks at me, and as it almost like winks, and they're thinking, oh my God, this is the moment. This is the moment. It's gonna happen, like that kind of thing. And then he turns around. Obviously, when you're live, obviously the drummer's in charge. Essentially, he runs the whole show. And obviously, with some of the click tracks that Steel Panther play to, Styx is in charge. And anyway, Satchel walks off to the drum riser while Michael's talking or doing something. And basically, sort of, just to give you a brief impression, you see Satchel walk up to the drum riser. He talks to Styx and sort of leans around, looks at me.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's not yet.
No,
Not yet.
no, we're
Yeah.
not doing it yet. And they're thinking, oh, it's like, no, and you
Not
go,
gonna
no, we
happen.
can't do it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And they're thinking, oh,
It's over.
it's over. Yeah, that kind of thing. We tried. It wasn't going to happen. Anyway, the set went on and on and on and on, and we know the set, so we knew when it was coming to an end. And eventually, it came to 17 girls in a row. All the girls are coming up, and
And we went absolutely nuts for that one.
we did go nuts because obviously it's one of our favorite songs anyway. But but anyway, Satchel is obviously getting all these girls. I mean, he's got a good eye on the crowd, and then he properly winked at me and nodded like whilst he was talking to the crowd. I was like looking at you, that kind of thing. And he says, "How about we get this kid to play guitar right now?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" I don't think I've ever jumped over the barrier fast enough.
Yeah.
But I wasn't scared by any means. I felt ready. You know what I mean? It was almost like one of those moments where I've played your song so much. But I thought, me being an uncool cat that I am, I rehearsed some of the songs beforehand.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. And 17 Girls in a Row was not one of those songs.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
think that was the song that it was going to be. So I'm there thinking, I'm about to go up and do a song I've not played for months. Help. And when I literally got onto the stage, I've got to try and pretend to be all confident. The first thing I did when I got on stage was I sort of looked at the whole crowd. And then literally, obviously, when I did that, the whole crowd was lit up. And I've been in the Apollo a few times, and literally, I didn't realize how big the Apollo was. And you get up to the top, and I'm in my head going, yeah! And then secretly in my heart's going, not a chance. You're looking at it thinking, this isn't happening at all, no way. And keep in mind, I'm completely deaf as well from obviously the first two bands in the show.
Sure.
So I'm there thinking, this is just, I'm about to make a fool out of myself in front of 2,000 people. They're all going to be filming on their phones. I'm going to be an internet viral sensation for failure. Help. And it's just, this is going to be unbelievable. This can't go well.
No
And
question.
anyway, they introduced me to Seven Aim and everything else, and the track kicked in. And the rest is history. But I got into it as it went on. I think I was a bit all over the shop to start with because I was getting a feel of what I could actually hear. Because you'd be amazed. Not only was I deaf anyway, but obviously Steel Panther all go through in-ears, so they can walk wherever they want and still feel great. Whereas I was dependent on the wedge, and I'm just there sort of pacing around. I'm solely dependent on just the basic sort of rhythm of what I can feel really in my feet from the drums, and basically what my fingers are doing and what I can roughly remember from doing. Anyway, track proceeded. It went all right. I really, really loved it. It came to the solo. I ended up legging it back to the wedge because I thought this could go really wrong here.
Yeah, if you don't hear yourself.
Yeah, and obviously, if you've seen the video, Michael takes my bro's phone, which we were filming on, and filmed the whole thing. But I basically sort of cowered behind the wedge so that I could hear it and vaguely get it right. It's like basically people have paid to see this, you know. And it was just, the rest was history. I had an amazing time. I couldn't believe my luck, and I couldn't have done it obviously without you and basically my family, and also fans, you know, from recommending me to other people. I just could not believe it, and I've lived an opportunity that no one gets to do. I find some people have played on Steel Panther, which is amazing, but I think to a lot of people, Satchel is not the number one guitarist. A lot of people look at Steel Panther and think they're just too stupid. You can't have Satchel as number one. It's just not allowed. But to me, Satchel's just number one. To me, Steel Panther, in terms of their musical taste, their lyrics, and their music, they're so shockingly. When I first heard them, they were so shocking. It was interesting. I couldn't believe
everybody's
it.
first reaction when you hear Steel Panther is like, who the hell are these guys?
Yeah,
this is
right.
crap.
Yeah.
And then you listen to it after the second or third listen, and you're like, this is actually all right.
Yeah, you're starting to dig it
It's one
after.
of those types of things. It's a really weird thing.
Yeah, but I got to play with my number one, which is so rare. I don't know if anyone else has been lucky as I have to play in front of your number one. And I've met my top three as well. I've met Steve Vai, and I've met Gus G twice, and I talked to him quite a bit. And I've played in front of Satchel and met him. I couldn't believe it. I cannot believe it.
Well,
And also, what's so funny is that people ask me, like, what did it feel like? What can you remember? And you'd be so surprised. I can't remember anything. When I think back on it,
I believe it.
I can't think about it. It was so spontaneous and in the moment. I can't envisage my view from the stage or how the guitar felt or anything like that. I can't remember it. But every time I see that video has been watched 40,000 times. I've watched it 38,000 times. Because I relive the moment
Sure.
every time I just relive it every time I watch it, and I get excited, and I discover something new each time I see it, and I can't believe it. Get
Well,
me for good talking about
it
myself.
is good. It
But
is good that it was documented though, because sometimes magical moments like that happen for people, and if it's not in your memory, it's gone because there's no other record of it. Or if things happened before these, cell phones and video cameras and everything were as popular as they are today back in the day, right? But I think one little takeaway, little piece of advice for people, chasing your dreams and things like that. That whole thing, obviously, you had a lot of things that were put into place to make it happen. Your brother and your parents and the connections you made with the band, but it still wouldn't have happened.
luck.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't have happened if you didn't say, "Hey, by the way, can I?" It's easy to be told no.
You never get anywhere without asking.
That's right. I know it might be a no, and it's going to be a lot faster no if you don't ask, because it's just not going to happen. We're going to be wrapping up here shortly in a minute, and I definitely don't want to go without hearing you play. And a lot of people tonight come to hear the amplifier that you've made famous on YouTube. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have you grab a guitar and get it ready. And while you do that, I'm going to jump over to and catch.
All which guitars.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll just. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'll have a fly through various ones. I'll obviously, given it's EVH Gear TV, I'll go through the Wolfgang briefly.
Okay.
I've got Sandimas here, which we can go through, and I've got a Charvel here, we will go through as well.
All right.
And I'll just give you a brief sort of tour of my sounds, if you like. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm gonna start with a Charvel first, I think, and
Okay.
then sorry, but yeah, and we'll see how it goes. Just obviously, as you know, I don't have a USB mixer, so if I'm gonna put the Yamaha direct through into the, I'm gonna start with the other one first. Oh, for God's sake! But the way it's gonna start is I'm gonna basically, obviously I don't have a USB mixer, so
Yep.
I'm gonna, in terms of speaking, I'm gonna go, and you'll just hear the guitar, and that's it, and probably some of me smiling and basically
That's
gesturing.
all good. We can live with that.
But then I'll just change through. If anything happens, if it's going on too long or whatever, just let me know.
No problem.
But I'll just have a cycle through some tones, and I'll just play for you guys. So apart from that, I'll see you on the other side.
All right. So we're gonna hear the THR10X. Is that right? That's the right one.
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
All right, let's do it. It'll be a couple of seconds, guys, and I'll be right there.
No problem. And everybody in the chat,
Cool.
I'm going to continue and sing hi to you guys and girls over there as well in a moment as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, go to the Wolfgang. That's perfect. Fantastic. That was stellar, man. That was absolutely fantastic. Stellar. Try a Charvel and we'll jump back to your voice. You can pick your favorite Charvel. It's sounding perfect. I know people are loving it.
Right. Who wants a choice?
Pink or yellow?
Pink or yellow?
Let's go pink.
Let's do it. All right. Okay. Give me a second, then we're going to go back off into the netherworld of playing, and then I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, it sounds good. We'll say hi to everybody, and we'll say goodbye to everybody, and we'll call it an evening. Awesome.
Cheers for your patience, guys. I had a second to get into it there, but yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, I'll give you some more tunes here, see what we can have. I'll try and throw in as much as I can, and without boring you guys.
You definitely no chance of that. That's all good.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to disappear off again, and I'll see you on the other side. Cool, here we go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what? I know I'm not sure if you can hear me yet. At the same time you're playing one of the last songs there, just over my right screen, Billy Sheehan just texted me.
What? No way. Billy Sheehan just texted you.
Yeah. It was perfect timing. It was literally perfect timing. He doesn't know that I'm live right now. Because when I did the last time with the show, yeah, he says, "Can you send me a link to the event?" Because I have him on my other show, Helix Hour on Sunday. And he says, "Can you send me a link to the event?" And I said, "I can for sure. I'm just live at the moment, but I will send it to you for sure." So that was perfect timing.
Well, that was excellent.
That was wicked. It was like meant to be. Yeah, it was wicked.
That was insane. That's killer.
Let's jump over.
That came across all right.
Oh yeah, that was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. That amp is very, very, very versatile. You guys got to check that one out.
Yeah, and just then you heard, well, when I started with Feeling, that was my sort of clean channel, if you like. I use it for more or less everything. The third, I rotate between two heavy distortion channels. I've got the sort of Van Hagar sound, which you heard was very much for your Panama, your Feeling, and everything else. And then everything else was done on my channel 3, which is what I've labeled it. I've labeled it at the time as my Little Ain't Enough channel.
Okay.
But it's just a perfectly usable distortion all around. I use it for more or less everything. But the I have what's known as like a mystery setting, which because I'm actually recording an album at the moment, and I've got a lot of it done. But the actual mystery setting I used is the one used for Feeling that you just heard.
Okay.
And I'm not giving that to anybody, but it can be made. It can be an exclusive thing here because I've not actually. I'm not going to reveal the full thing. I'm just going to give you a little route as to how to get it. If anyone's got a THR out there, listen here and listen now because it's not being repeated again. If you have the THR editor, I'm using the Brown 2 model with a lot of chorus. The reverb and delay is up to you. And the secret is in the cab choice. It's a 4x12, but it's which one.
Okay.
But there you go. That's all you're getting. But the EQ and the knobs is all up to you.
Yeah, whatever your taste is. That's good.
That's the generic.
Okay. That's good enough to get people in the right direction. Well, that's good for sure. That's a good tip for sure. Well, we're going to wrap up here in just a moment. We'll go by and say hi and goodbye to everybody that's jumping in towards the end of the program here. Devin is saying Cam should be on Yamaha's payroll. Probably sold a lot of them, and I agree with that. Frank McNeil says, a huge fan of Cameron. Love his Yamaha THR videos.
Thank you.
Tyler says, been following Cameron since early 2015. Got into Charvel's. Thanks for all the killer content. Tyler, saying he got into Charvel's because of you. Daktar is a little bit late, so he's watching the video on fast speed to catch up a little bit. Reza Khan saying Cameron is an inspiration for even 40 or 8-year-olds. Love his videos. Hey, and I'm even older than that. I'm 50 this year, and I find you very inspiring.
Thank you very much.
Daktar says, do you use the 100-watt when you play live sometimes?
Do I use 100 watt?
The EVH.
Oh, I have a 50 watt.
Oh, 50 watt. Okay.
But the 50 watt very rarely gets plugged in these days, because obviously for videos and everything, it's just too loud. It's just an inconvenience because it's sat on a Black Star Series 1 4x12. You know, the ones that sort of Gus G uses.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's such a heavy combination. It's actually sinking into the floor, which means when it's sunk into the floor, whenever you plug it in, it vibrates the whole house, which isn't fantastic.
No.
It's a brilliant sounding amp, but I've just got to be really sparing when I plug it in. But every chance I get to plug it in and do what I can with it,
it's fun, yeah, for
I
sure.
will do it.
Yeah.
One thing that might actually surprise you guys, fully enough, you know, I said you don't need a head and cab to play live.
Mm-hmm.
In my first year of uni, we had a module called just live sound technology, and given the time of year we were having these particular lessons, they were trying to get bands to come in so we can mess around with desks and everything else, and there wasn't anybody. So we made like a makeshift band out of the class. And I thought, and then around the time that we were doing it, everyone was being assessed for all their performance exams and everything else, which I'm not part of because I'm not on the guitar course. But we made this sort of makeshift band, and everyone else buggered off with all the other amps, so we had nothing to play with. So I thought, right, guys, if you guys give me enough forewarning, I'll go back home, and if this is gonna work, I'll get my Yamaha. And we'll bring it in, we'll mic it up and use it. And we did. And you would not believe the sound we had. Literally, because I've had that, the mystery setting that I've had for years. We jammed Panama and a couple of Panther tracks collectively between us. It was just knock out a 4/4 and just go for it. Because keep in mind, we're just messing with sort of basic settings but on the mixing desk. But we actually mic'd up the Yamaha to a PA system, and it sounded like a stack. And it's got my validation. It's not my bias because I was playing the guitar. We had a couple of other guitar players in the class, and I basically said, "What does this sound like?" And basically, you had them just literally playing up front. It sounds huge. It's massive. And we did it we had two SM57s. Obviously, there are 4 speakers. I don't know how well. Can you see that? Hang on.
A little bit.
Obviously, when you look at it, hang on, you can see it just about.
Yep.
There are 4 speakers in there. We had two 57s pointing at it like this.
Nice.
Right up to it, and it was literally just the biggest, widest sort of stereo sound. It was just insane. And if you ever happen to have your rig stolen, the Yamaha has got your back.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know for sure.
Yeah, you just can't use all of your distortion pedals running through the front of it.
Yeah, you use what's built in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dirty Ape says he loves his THR10. At G-Man Music Production says it takes pedals well too. Neil Banbury says huge fan of Cameron's playing. His lessons are amazing. Love the Satchel and Gilbert stuff. Let me see here. What have I missed here? Justin Garrity says, they're talking back and forth about Jack White, I think. And Brandon says, dude, it's Cam back at us again.
He quoted my intro.
Yeah, there you go. Mystic Dreams Music is here saying hi everyone. Gaston Bullet says hello. Ear training is critical. That's from Matt Harrison. Mystic Dreams saying hi to Food Tone. Carlo Santin, I'm the one. Eddie's is one of Eddie's hardest songs. If you listen to the isolated guitar track, it's unbelievable. It's one take straight through and it swings the whole time. In Mr. Dreams Music as well, saying he's that's a perfect example of that. I'm the one. Sunday Bloody Sunday, great guitar from Matt Harrison. Devin, Toronto, where he's from. I'm close to you, Devin. Somewhat close. Carlos at Van Halen in Toronto, 1995. I was there both nights, and I was there as well. Very great concert.
Excellent.
Tony Fuentes is here saying congratulations, Cooper. Love the channel. Eric, hi, little brother. Cameron,
yeah, Tony, I remember you.
Yeah, he's great. Cameron is an awesome player.
Awesome.
All the best to you and your successes. Brandon looks like me watching the old Stevie Ray gigs. It just blows my mind. Warren Hughes is here, another great shredder. Hey, what's up, guys? He says, hey, Eric. I'm just going to see if I miss anybody, and we're about 10, 15 minutes past the program, so I'm just going to see if I missed anybody else here. Les Bellin is here saying hello, and I apologize if I have missed anyone. It's hard to catch everyone. I do try my best. JD Gonzalez is here saying hi, guys. Warren says the little Yamaha amps rock. Okay, here's a good one. Ibanez ZG1 says, is Cameron going to attend GitCon this year?
GitCon.
Yeah. In Germany? Have you been invited to that?
Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, sorry. For a split second, I don't know. For some reason, I just hadn't remembered. I do want to go to that. Don't you need an invitation to go to that?
I think so. Kind? Yeah, Henning Pauly usually handles all that stuff. I'd touch base with him maybe. I'm not sure how.
When is GitCon this year?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Surely, if I was to go there,
I'm guessing it's in the summer.
Wouldn't I have to go there and represent somebody? Because if I could go to it, I'd be there like a shot, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll be there faster than anything. I really want to go.
Because what was really funny as well when we were on guitar shows, Cameron, you got loads this year about asking whether you were going to NAMM.
Yeah, I've had so many questions recently. I think it was just after I did for my most popular video I've ever released is a top 5 Van Halen riffs video.
Yeah.
And I gained, I think it was about 3,000 subscribers off the back of that video.
Wow.
And it's literally just built my following up from there. I'm nearly at 10,000 now. I think I've just ticked over 9K now, all thanks to this video. Thank you, Van Halen. But But ever since then, when I released that, it was around the time of sort of Winter NAMM, and everything's just around the corner. And everyone's asking me like, "Are you going to NAMM? Like you have to be going. Like, why aren't you there?" And I said I would be going if someone would just let me be there on their behalf of some kind. If I could go on anyone's behalf, obviously I'd love to be at the Charvel booth or anybody else, but
or Yamaha maybe.
Everybody, because I know you're just tripping over famous people though. Apparently it's just insane. And I'd love to be part of that. Do you go to NAMM, by the way, Eric?
Yeah, the year before last, and then Junior and I are going this winter NAMM as well, too. And believe it or not, that was about 6 questions I had for you tonight. One of them was NAMM as well, but I didn't get a chance. We ran out of time for questions, but I was going to ask you if you're going next year. We'll find a way to get you there. We'll get you there.
We'll see if we can save up to go.
Yeah, we got to both go. We have to both go because we need a cameraman.
I'll talk to a few people. To get you a pass.
Oh, thanks.
That'd be great.
If you could get me in on a rock with some rock guys, that would be just insane.
I won't make a promise, but I will promise you this: I will try for you. I will certainly ask. Like you say, if you don't ask, you don't know, right? So
that's very true. Thank you so much.
Frank JC says we should all get together and have a VH jam. All of us that play guitar, bass, and drums, and of course we need someone that can sing. And Frank also, that's Frank JC. Frank McNeil asked, does Cameron have a tutorial on how to grab his THR patches and actually use the software that comes with it? I'd love something like that from him. I've looked and couldn't put my finger on it.
So what was that again?
So basically, do you have any tutorials on how to get patches and then how to actually use the software to create and things like that? So kind of a tutorial on how to use everything with the amplifier.
To actually make the patches.
Fully enough, it's been on my mind something to do like something along those lines over the years, and because I've used the THR editor for a little while, and a lot of people do ask me about where can I get these patches? Can I download them anywhere? And I've not actually released any. But I understand where you're coming from, and I understand why you'd like a tutorial. The only reason why I haven't done one is because I don't feel, it seems like a daft thing to say, I don't think I'd do a good job of it because I don't have the facilities to screen grab properly.
Right, okay.
All I can do is screen grab just the settings after they're done. But when it comes to finding settings and getting everything sorted with the Yamaha, if you download if you go to Yamaha's official website, you can find the Yamaha editing software. They keep updating it all the time. I've probably got an old version of it, but the THR editor is up there. The latest one's there. You can download it in whether you're on Mac or PC, and it should load in relation to what you have. You can also download a separate library in relation to your amp. So supposing you had the THR10 standard, the white one, there's a library dedicated solely to that amp. You can get the X library, which I don't own, but I do. I've almost been in fear of downloading it in case I lose all of the things I've saved. But when I've downloaded the settings, the interface that I have for some strange reason was always the Cream Yamaha, and it still works great, but it just never flips over to the green sort of interface to suit my amp. But it doesn't matter. I can still make the sounds that I want.
However, it has proven beneficial for you because you can actually get loads of different sounds that you didn't realize you could get.
But what it essentially does is the interface. I'm sorry, I know we're eating into time here, but basically the top of the interface is essentially your amp head itself, so you can monitor everything you're doing. Then below it is just it's a tiny bit more detail. It's not like you're getting like bias effects or anything like that. It's really small. I mean, literally, when you open the window, do you remember the old Windows game Pinball?
Yep.
Literally, the actual window for it is that big. It's tiny, and that's how big the interface is. It takes up no memory on your computer. It's brilliant.
Okay.
And you can store an infinite amount of patches on it. It's just incredible. And basically, underneath the interface is essentially you get a selection of cab choices in like a drop-down menu, which is where I choose all of my new sounds if I wanted a different flavor or whatever. And when you open up your effects, you can just tamper all you want. And the thing, full enough, about the Yamaha amps that they've absolutely nailed, I so wish they'd do this, is the chorus in the Yamahas are not true choruses, but what they do replicate so well is the Eventide 3000, the H3000,
pitch detune,
the harmonizer pedal.
Yeah.
Obviously everyone from it doesn't matter. You could be Boston, Rush, Steve Vai, Eddie Van Halen. They've all used that device on their albums. And obviously Steve Vai, I think, being the most reputable user of taking it to the max, I think, from what little I know about that effect. But it replicates that chorus effect beautifully, almost as if they meant it.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing. And if you go into when you turn it on via the stock setting, it's a little I don't know, it's almost dry sounding, which I totally understand. A lot of people open it and go, "This isn't what I ordered." They're a bit almost dissatisfied. But if you open up the editor, you can make the most crazy chorus sounds. It's absolutely insane. The whole sort of spaceship thing and everything else. It's really, really clever.
Also, obviously has the compressors and the noise gates in as well, so then you're able to
you get compressors, noise gates,
even more.
A load of different reverbs, plate reverbs, a massive array of hall reverbs and everything else. You get so much just from downloading this little editor, and it totally not unlocks your THR. It turns like a 200 quid amp into something that's worth thousands straight away. I recommend it to anyone.
Well, even like the guys at Line 6 will tell you too, is, don't worry about presets. Presets are cool. They're just there to kind of get you started. Dive into stuff like that right away. And, that's when it's going to come to life when you start to do your own thing with it. So you've done very well with it. Just the last few comments here. Kurt Singer says, I didn't know who Cameron was until your show, but I've just subbed after watching a few videos, and the fact that he's only been playing a few years. Wow, he says. Matt Harrison says John Mayer Charvel has graphics from an old Powell skate deck on it. There you go. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. They are exclusively making amps for Vi now, apparently. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe that is the Carvin. Is Carvin making it, like, even though they're out of business, they're just making amps strictly for Steve Vai? Is that what he's saying?
Maybe.
We have to look into that and find out.
Really
well connected.
Running on fumes then, because I'm surprised they've got actually the resources left to make that stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Cranston says, does EVH use the Music Man Ernie Ball? Not anymore. How does it compare to the Petrucci's Majesty line? I think they're two different animals for sure. One's more of a shred guitar. One's more of a kind of a plain old rock guitar, I think. Frank JC says, I've always been a Strat style fan. My last two guitars I bought are a cigar box, A string, 3-string, and 6-string. Devin says, I'm playing my Lunchbox 2 while watching. Very, very cool. Fender Guru says, awesome show. Brian Cote is just jumping in last minute, says, hi guys. Jeff's new to the channel and says pure awesomeness. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Zach Dong is here saying, what's up, Eric and Cameron? Matt Harrison, how did Satchel's guitar play? How did it play?
I'm probably going to disappoint you guys. If you own a Mexican Charvel or a USA Charvel, if you just own a Charvel that's come out in the last 10 years, it felt no different.
Okay.
Literally, when I picked it up, I was half expecting it to be just sort of completely and utterly alien thing with a super thin neck and everything else. But it wasn't. It was literally, obviously, you've seen me play the pink guitar and everything else. It feels no different. It was like coming home.
Oh, that's good.
It was an absolutely amazing guitar. The only thing that was completely and utterly alien to me when I was playing it, I don't know if it was just my adrenaline, I don't know, but it was incredibly slinky.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the way it was set up, but no, you know, obviously a lot of people comment on Satchel's vibrato. I mean, to bend on that guitar, easy,
Yeah.
easy. Like if you hear it at the very end, like there's a part where I almost overkill it, and even at the start of the song, I almost overkill it on bending with the riff because one, I can't hear very well, and also it's just it was super slinky. There might have been eights on that guitar for all I know.
Oh wow.
And also the action was super low. I
Nice.
mean, really low. It was almost too low for me.
Wow.
Because a lot of people think I play with a really low action. I don't. I play with
Medium.
A medium. Obviously,
medium action.
it's subjective, but a medium action. It's definitely not high like a slide guitar or something, or a resonator. But it's medium. It's medium enough for me to grab the string really underneath. As Yngwie would say, grab the note by the balls.
Yeah.
But it's quite a medium action. It's definitely not low. A lot of people are quite surprised by that, I think.
Oh, wicked. Well, very good cheer. Excuse me. Devin says you did a stellar job in that song. Must be a night to remember. Francisco Acostas is watching from Brazil. Thank you, Francisco, for checking in. And from Brazil. FNF Gamers is building his own custom guitar body, and he's attaching his friend's Kramer neck. Coffee Drinker is here saying that he must have got cut off in a sentence, but nice to have him here. That sounds awesome. Let me see here. AI Gaming says, holy crap. Candy Blue Charvel is my favorite. Carlo Santin, horns up. Frank JC, fantastic. Kurt Singer, nice. Let me see if I missed anyone else because we're about to wrap up. I think we pretty much got everybody. Just make sure I didn't miss anyone new at the bottom. And if I did, again, I'm sorry. Steve Segura is here saying, thanks, gentlemen. Great show. Frank JC turns 50 on Monday. So happy birthday, early birthday, Frank JC.
Happy birthday.
And let me see here. Dr. Simply amazing player. Cheers. That's from Tony. Fantastic show yet again. Eric Cameron. Angus, great show, guys. And I think the drivers here, Charvel should make a Jazzmaster body and call it a Style 3. And Kurt Singer says, great show.
Or Jaguar even.
Yeah, there you go. And go Team Cooper. Listen, this was a pleasure to have you guys tonight. I know we had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but we worked through them. We'll get your webcam working. We'll have you guys back again for sure. And,
please. I'd love to come back. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
I've got a link to your channel down below in the description. I also have a link to to purchase a THR amp if anyone wants to get that after hearing you play it. I'm sure there's a lot of people. There is a link down below to purchase. Grab it.
I recommend it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Record bass with it as well, and it's actually really is killer for recording bass as well.
And also another thing, may I add really, really quick?
Yes.
For all of my 5150 review demos where we've mic'd it up and everything else, I don't have an interface. That amp is what I recorded it into.
That's wicked.
Literally, you put the amp on a flat setting. It's got a flat setting, which means the EQ is completely disengaged, and that therefore means it doesn't tamper with the original signal. But what's really cool is that you have all of the effects still work. So you could get that Eventide sound with the 5150.
That's perfect.
So that's the secret. That's how it all works. You don't need an interface.
Yeah, just run a microphone.
Will go out of business eventually. Only the Yamahas will remain.
That's wicked.
But yeah, I'm joking, obviously, but that's a secret of mine. Yeah, if you can get a Yamaha THR, it's got so many different functions. I recommend it for everybody.
It's a definite good sell for sure. There's no doubt about that. That's fantastic. I ask everyone to come back on Sunday. I have the Helix Hours, but it's going to be my second week in a row now at the new show that I run. It's on Sundays. The Helix Hour normally runs 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did bump it till 6 p.m. Billy Sheehan is traveling, and he won't be back until a little bit later in the afternoon. And when Billy Sheehan says he'll do your show, you make it at his schedule. You can't say you can't argue with Billy Sheehan. So 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And speaking of Yamaha and a great Yamaha and a Line 6 artist, we're going to get him to show us some playing on the air. Actually, he's going to do some Line 6 demos and some fun with the Helix and his bass on Sunday. So we're looking forward to that. So come back and check that one out.
Get down to watching that, considering I'm a bass player.
Oh, yeah. I think you'll love it for sure. Yeah, and I'm going to send him a link right away. He texted me during the show, so I want to get him that link right away too. So listen, everyone, have a fantastic, killer weekend. Have fun, whatever you're doing. Have family time, guitar time, all of the combination of the above. And thank you so very much for watching this evening. If you haven't yet subscribed to either of our channels, please do. Easy to subscribe to mine. You're here right now. Cameron's is right down in the link below as well. Go show him some love. And
thank you.
Yeah, it was a fun evening. I will say goodbye to both you gentlemen off the air. And everyone, have a fantastic weekend. I look forward to seeing you on the Helix Hour, same channel. 6 p.m. Eastern
I'll be
Standard Time
there.
this Sunday.
Yeah,
All right,
we'll definitely chin
I'll be
that.
there.
I'll be happy to have you there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and text me, send me some messages during the show. Hey, it's going good, it's going bad, or anywhere in between. Rock and roll. Okay, guys, hang on. I'm going to say goodbye off the air. See you real soon, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Take
very much.
care.
See you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
I am now on Patreon. If you enjoy my content and wish to support my channel and what I do, then please check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/EVHGearTV. Your support assures the continued growth of this channel and a fun community in which to share our love for Van Halen, music gear, and much more.
My name is Eric, and I've been looking guitar.
Video production services provided by Design 39 Media. Visit design39media.com for all your website, photography, and video production needs. Microphones for EVH and Gear TV are provided by Rhoads Microphones, and official Van Halen merchandise is provided by VanHalenStore.com.